Michael Turner, 32, and Rachel Porter, 28, seemed like the perfect couple. Both were ambitious professionals living in Seattle. Michael worked as a successful software engineer, and Rachel was an up-and-coming lawyer. They had met in 2016 through mutual friends and quickly fell in love. Their relationship moved fast, but it appeared to be a fairy tale romance. In June 2020, after 4 years of dating, the two were married in a beautiful outdoor ceremony surrounded by family and friends. The newlyweds decided to celebrate their union with a dream honeymoon in Maui, Hawaii. The plan was simple: spend 2 weeks relaxing on the beaches, exploring the island, and enjoying their first days as a married couple. But what was supposed to be the happiest time of their lives quickly unraveled into a deadly nightmare. Upon their arrival in Maui on July 5, 2020, Michael and Rachel seemed to be enjoying their tropical paradise. They stayed at an upscale resort on the island's western shore, indulging in spa treatments, romantic dinners, and scenic tours. However, things began to take a dark turn during the second week of their trip. By July 10, tensions between the couple were starting to show. Witnesses at the resort noticed that Michael and Rachel had been arguing more frequently. A bartender at the hotel's lounge recalled overhearing a particularly heated exchange, where Rachel accused Michael of being distant and uninterested in her since their wedding. In response, Michael reportedly grew defensive, claiming Rachel was overly controlling and demanding. As the days went on, their arguments became more intense. The honeymoon that had started as a dream was quickly turning into a disaster. On the morning of July 12, 2020, Michael and Rachel decided to go on a scuba diving excursion near the island's famous coral reefs. Both were certified divers, having taken lessons together the previous year. The dive was supposed to be a fun way to escape the rising tension between them, but it would instead become the final chapter of their tragic story. The couple set out with a small group of tourists and a local dive guide at around 9 a.m. The waters off the coast of Maui were calm that morning, the sun shining brightly overhead. The group dived at a depth of about 40 feet, admiring the colorful marine life and the stunning coral formations. However, what happened next remains the subject of speculation and suspicion. At approximately 11:15 a.m., Rachel was found floating lifeless in the water by one of the other divers. Her diving regulator had come loose, and she appeared to have drowned. Michael surfaced shortly after, panicked and shouting for help. The dive guide immediately called for emergency services, but it was too late. Despite their efforts, Rachel could not be revived. At first, Rachel's death was ruled a tragic accident. The local police and medical examiner concluded that she had likely panicked underwater, causing her to remove her breathing apparatus and ultimately drown. Michael was devastated, and he returned to Seattle a few days later to mourn with Rachel's family. However, as more details about the couple's troubled honeymoon began to emerge, authorities in Maui reopened the investigation. Several witnesses at the resort came forward to report the couple's frequent arguments, and one of the dive instructors noted that Michael had been acting strangely during the dive, staying close to Rachel but not assisting her when she appeared to be in distress. Rachel's family, suspicious of the circumstances surrounding her death, pushed for a deeper inquiry. They revealed that Rachel had expressed concerns to her close friends before the wedding, saying that Michael had become increasingly controlling and emotionally distant in the months leading up to the ceremony. There were also reports that Michael had taken out a substantial life insurance policy on Rachel just weeks before their wedding, raising red flags with investigators. In late July 2020, a more thorough autopsy revealed that Rachel had suffered minor bruising around her neck and shoulders, injuries consistent with a struggle underwater. The dive regulator had not simply come loose, as initially believed, it appeared to have been forcibly removed. This new evidence painted a far more sinister picture of what might have happened that day. Investigators began to suspect that Michael had intentionally tampered with Rachel's diving equipment or, worse, had held her underwater in an attempt to stage her drowning as an accident. As the investigation progressed, Michael's behavior after Rachel's death also came under scrutiny. He had returned to Seattle and quickly filed a claim for the $500,000 life insurance policy he had taken out on Rachel. When questioned about the policy, Michael claimed it was a precaution and that he had no financial motives behind it. On September 3, 2020, Michael Turner was arrested at his home in Seattle and charged with second-degree murder. Prosecutors alleged that Michael, frustrated by the deteriorating relationship and motivated by the life insurance payout, had deliberately killed Rachel during the dive. During the trial, which took place in early 2021, the prosecution painted a picture of a man who had grown tired of his new wife and saw an opportunity to eliminate her while making it look like an accident. They argued that Michael had premeditated the murder by taking out the life insurance policy and then waited for the right moment during the dive to sabotage her equipment or hold her underwater. The defense argued that Rachel's death was an unfortunate accident, claiming there was no conclusive evidence that Michael had tampered with her equipment. They also pointed out that the bruising on Rachel's body could have been caused by panicking during the dive, rather than by Michael's actions. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury found Michael Turner guilty of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Rachel's death was a shocking end to what should have been a joyful beginning to married life. The case of Michael and Rachel Turner serves as a chilling reminder of how quickly relationships can unravel and how deeply hidden motives can turn deadly. To this day, questions linger about the true nature of their relationship and whether Michael had been planning Rachel's murder all along, or if he acted in a moment of rage during their doomed honeymoon. Rachel's family continues to honor her memory, raising awareness about the dangers of domestic violence and the importance of addressing issues within relationships before they escalate into tragedy.